Back for ABC 24 this week. Thanks for being here. I'm Richard Ransom. Otis Sanford is ABC 24's political analyst. Sam Hardiman is a reporter with the Commercial Appeal, and Reverend Ken Whalum with New Olivet Worship Center is also joining us today. So let's talk about the voting process today. We know that folks started voting early on Wednesday, and it was a lackluster turnout. In fact, one of the worst years, I think only 2014, when we went back and checked, was worse than the 4,900 people that showed up on the first day of early voting anyway, suggesting, Otis, that there's not a lot of excitement about this election. And honestly, there aren't any real interesting races. There are a few amendments to the Constitution that might get some interest, but there's not a lot else.
Well, there's no question about it. I mean, you know, personalities drive people to the polls. Contested campaigns drive people to the polls. And we don't have any of that this time. We have a governor's race that is about as lackluster as you're going to get. The incumbent is probably going to win easily. We have two congressional races in our area. There's no contest there in the 8th and 9th district. So the only thing that is really worth talking about are those amendments. And frankly, we here at ABC 24 have been talking about it more than anybody else in the community, trying to help people understand it. And the biggest one is that right to work amendment that is seeking to put the right to work law into the state constitution. That one probably should be getting more attention than it's getting, but it's not. And so that's why voter enthusiasm is really down in Tennessee, when it's really up, though, in a lot of other states like Georgia and Pennsylvania and Arizona. That's where all of the action is this year. There's not going to be anything in Tennessee.
It seems, Reverend Whalum, like the only time there is action in Tennessee is when there's a contested primary race. It never really happens in November anymore.
Yeah, full transparency, man. Typically, I would have early voted by now. I usually try to early vote on the first day. I have not this time.
Right.
And I guess I have to fess up and say it's because I'm really not interested at this point. I will early vote, but, you know, I'm certain that that's the reason, as Otis has said, that people haven't gone in.
And voters using, Sam, these new $6 million voting machines. I think there's 1,100 of them all together. It was a first test run for them and see how smoothly the process went. And every voter we talked to seemed very pleased with them and found them to be user-friendly and pretty easy to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't yet voted. Full confession, I'll probably vote later this week, maybe next week. And, you know, we're going to see. I mean, are these new voter machines going to mean that we get quicker results on election night, November 8th? I look forward to figuring that one out.
Yeah. Linda Phillips, the administrator for the Shelby County Election Commission, says you're right. It actually will go much faster, but we will wait and see if that's the case. But you're getting a look there at just some of the machines and how they work. So I guess we'll ask, as far as the races and contests that are concerned that are out there, the only one you're seeing any advertising for is Governor Lee, and that's just because he's got the money to spend. Best I can tell, it's not unlike Sheriff Bonner running ads, even though he was unopposed in the August election.
Right.
As we get closer to November, though, there's a lot of conversation about the election that will be interesting a year from now, and that is the municipal election for the city of Memphis. Have you got a lot of interest in what's going to happen between now and then?
I got tremendous interest in it, Richard. I'm waiting to see how many other shoes drop here. I mean, we've been waiting for 2 weeks or more to see what Floyd Bonner was going to do here. And I guess we'll find out sometime this week. I hope we find out sometime soon, because I think other candidates are waiting to see what he does. But, you know, I think the longer he waits, the more there is an opportunity for people to cast doubt about whether he really wants this job or not. And so that's one thing that he needs to have on his mind.
Well, he has said October 25th, I believe, is the day that he says he's going to make an announcement. Sam, what are we expecting that he's going to say on the 25th this week?
So last night I attended a public meeting in Binghamton at First Baptist on Broad. It was for the Memphis Light Gas and Water Tennessee Valley Authority decision. And just before the meeting started, Sheriff Bonner in plain clothes came with his wife and sat and attended and watched the entire event. He did not say what the position he would take and when he would announce, but he was definitely keying in and listening intently on something that, if you were elected mayor of the city of Memphis, might land on your desk or close to it, which is our power supply issue. So I would probably take his attendance at that public meeting to mean he's probably running. That would be my guess. And I'm not reporting that. I'm just inferring that from his attendance last night.
I don't think that's a misread. I really don't. Reverend Ken, what are you hearing as far as the mayor's race is concerned?
I'm hearing that Floyd, Sheriff Bonner, is really giving it some serious thought. There is no question about that. He's been putting out some feelers and that kind of thing, testing fundraising capability. But let me just say, I think that this election, the municipal election, is going to be a watershed moment in the history of the city of Memphis. There are people out here trying to organize another people's convention, which I am totally opposed to. I think that we are in a very dangerous spot in terms of the future of our city with regard to young people and whether or not they're going to plug into the social fabric of this community and make contributions. I personally hope that my friend Sheriff Bonner does not run. I think that he and other tried and true politicians in Memphis, especially Black ones, ought to support younger professionals to lead our city, because we are in a very dangerous place.
Okay, very interesting. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about Fred Smith. Everybody knows that name in Memphis. He's the founder and former CEO of FedEx, and he was honored by the National Civil Rights Museum this week, ruffling some feathers. We'll talk about that in a moment.